Well, Taylor Swift just came to the city of Seattle. We have lots of activity, the All-Star Game. This is a beautiful time of year. We're talking about July 2023. It's also a great time for real estate. So in this video, we're going to do a monthly market update for July 2023. So stay tuned. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Matthew Chapman. I'm a local realtor here in the greater Seattle region, and I specialize in helping savvy sellers who want to sell right, who want to sell smart, as well as working with out-of-staters looking to relocate to this region, to the beautiful Northwest in the Bellevue surrounding areas of Seattle. And if this is your first time to my channel, thank you for stopping by. And I would just ask that you would click subscribe down below. That way you can get notified of any future content that drops. And I will also encourage you to subscribe to my Instagram channel if you just go there at Chapman Homes HQ. That way you can get notified on a market update on a daily basis of what's happening in this beautiful region in the real estate world. So in today's video, again, we're going to look at a monthly market update for July 2023, and we're going to talk about Seattle. We're going to talk about the east side. And so let's get right to it. For those of you that are new to my channel, there are really two different regions here that I specialize in, and that is the Seattle area, which is made up of over 50 neighborhoods, and then there is the suburbs of Seattle, which are commonly known around here as the east side neighborhoods, and that's east of Lake Washington, and all you got to do is cross a bridge to get there. But those are the neighborhoods of Bellevue, Redmond, Issaquah, Kirkland, Bothell, Woodinville, North Bend, and a few others. Those are referred to as the east side. So when we look at a real estate market update, we're going to talk about those two categories, Seattle and the east side. So first of all, the east side, the median home sales price for last month in June was $1.45 million. That didn't change from the previous month. This time last year, the home sales price was $1.5 million. So just off by $50,000. And that essentially means we are down by 3% if you look at prices from a year-over-year perspective. Now, last year at this time, 39% of the homes were selling above asking. And guess what? For the first time in a long time, that hasn't changed year over year. 39% of the homes are selling above asking in this month as well. So if you look at the east side market, another indicator of the health of a real estate market is the month's supply of inventory. In other words, how long would it take for all the homes to get eaten up by the current demand? And in a normal market, that's usually 3 to 4 months, but it's actually favoring the sellers right now because we only have 1.1 months supply of inventory. And so that's why we're seeing at times homes go above asking, multiple offers, because there's really just not that much inventory to choose from. So now we look at the Seattle market, and we see that the Seattle market, the home sales price for June, the average home sales price was $930,000. That's compared to last year, which was $1 million. So what does that mean? That means it's a decrease of about 7% in the real estate market for the 50 neighborhoods or so that make up Seattle. Now, last year at this time, 54% of the homes in Seattle were selling above asking. But this year, right now, we have about 42% of the homes in Seattle going above asking. Still a very healthy real estate market in the greater Seattle region, and in Seattle proper, we have about 1.3 months supply of inventory. So really, we want to talk about, those are the statistics, right? But we want to talk about what is truly happening from a real estate perspective and from a realtor's perspective, because you hear a lot in the media, you read a lot of articles, but I want to tell you what is truly happening on the ground. So let's get right to it. So what is truly happening? Well, let me tell you, the national headlines would tell you that home values are actually going down. And yes, year over year, they are down, but you have to look at the whole story. And actually, since January, home values have gone up 15%. So that means home values in general are increasing around here. And I always tell my clients, if you're trying to time the market just perfectly and hit the bottom of the market and buy, that none of us have a crystal ball. It's actually more about time in the market than timing it perfectly, because the longer you hold real estate, actually, the statistics say that it's going to go up over time. And if you're planning on keeping that real estate for 3 to 5 years, the historical trends say you're going to do extremely well. So that's what's happening. Home values have gone up since January about 15%. But what we're also seeing in the market is that some buyers are lacking urgency because, there's really two different types of markets right now. And there is a very slow market and there's a very competitive market. Competitive market is really defined by a home that doesn't last on the market bit long, actually less than 7 days. And there's a whole different set of competition in the way that you structure offers and the way that you evaluate that property. And then we have the slower market, which is anything that lasts 8 days or longer. And there are quite a few homes that are lasting 8 days or longer, but by and large, most of the homes are a part of that competitive market. So you as a buyer, one of the things you need to know is have a strategy in place. Like, you need to be prepared for the competitive market. And if by chance you fall in love with a home that is a part of the slower market, that's great news, because you're going to be empowered and it's going to be an easy process because you are already going to be prepared for this intense competitive market. So really what buyers need to do right now is they need to get with their realtor, come up with a really good game plan. It's never too early to talk. I'm getting phone calls all the time from people like you that find me on YouTube or online that just want to get some questions answered about the market. And that is a really wise thing to do, even if it's a ways off. The other thing we're seeing in this market is that typically prices peak right around this time of year. They kind of level off until maybe they go up a little bit, potentially in the fall, but by and large, home prices peak right around this time this year, and they really relatively stay pretty flat until right around mid-January or February. Home prices start to go up again, just like last year. And so one of the other things we're seeing in this market is that there's a lack of supply in the real estate market in this general area. It's actually down 44% from the 10-year average, and people just don't want to sell their homes. And you might be asking, why is that, Matt? Well, it's because they're sitting at a beautiful interest rate. They're sitting at 2 and 3%. And so why would they want to upgrade their house and sell only to buy another house that is going to put them in a 6.5% to 7% interest rate? So the people that are selling really have a reason to sell. It's not like they're upgrading their house. We're missing that whole market. The people that are selling are people that are retiring, people that are relocating for jobs, and the people that really have this significant life change. They're going through a divorce or something is happening. And so what's happening is we're missing that whole other side of the market where people want to upgrade their house. They want to move into a bigger and better house. Yes, there still may be that desire amongst sellers, but they're not really taking action because it hurts. It's too painful to move up when they're swapping interest rates from a 6.5% to 7% to a 2 or a 3% interest rate. So that's what's happening in the real estate market right now. Buyers, again, they're lacking urgency because they are seeing, some homes stay on the market a little bit longer, but they don't lack urgency if they find the right house. And that's why the competitive market still very much exists. So let's talk a little bit more about that's what's happening, but I want to tell you what I'm seeing in the market right now. And I'm seeing multiple offers that do really still exist. And it is not uncommon, and the good houses are actually the ones that are getting the multiple offers. It doesn't mean that there's a bad house that's a part of the competitive market. It might mean that they had a bad pricing strategy. But I want you to know that multiple offers still very much exist, and this is the story, this is the narrative that is happening in our region right now, especially with single family homes. So the next question I get is, Matt, when is the best time to buy? And if you've listened to my channel in the past, you know there's no secret that the historical trends say that the best time to buy in this region is the month of August. And guess what? We are days away from the month of August. So what would I tell you? Now is the best time to buy. And a lot of people, if you're new to my channel, you might be surprised by that because summer is a great time in Seattle. So why are people buying homes? Well, it's because their mind is focused in on other things. They are focused in on enjoying the beauty of what this region has to offer. They're hiking, they're camping, they're boating, they're doing all the fun things. And they're getting their kids ready for school. And that just takes their mind on other things other than real estate. And so it's a sneaky time of year to get in there. Why? Because there's less competition. You might still be against multiple offers, but it's going to be less multiple offers. A word on the street about multiple offers is don't let them scare you, because sometimes what I'm seeing is multiple offers are starting below asking. There's really not as many multiple offers as there was, let's say, a little over a year ago when the interest rates were super low. So in my opinion, now is a great time to buy because you are going to be against less competition than you would be when the interest rates go down to about 5.5%. Once interest rates hit about 5.5%, we're going to see, I think, a raging storm of competition come back to the real estate market. And so it's very hard to predict when that's going to happen. Could be, in the next year or two, but the Fed seems pretty committed to keeping the interest rates where they are at the moment. So you can avoid the competition frenzy if you get in the market now, and you can refinance later when the interest rates go down. I think that's the best case scenario for you as a buyer. So what I would say to you if you're looking to buy is to marry the house and date the rate. Now you have time to look for that great house. You can can take your time because there's still competition, but there's less frenzy. And maybe you can add some contingencies in your offer. You don't have to give away your life. You can have some power back when you're making these offers. So marry the house, take your time, find the right house, fall in love with it. I want you doing cartwheels for that house, but date the rate because your interest rate is not going to be your interest rate forever. Home prices are going to go up. Interest rates will come down at some point. They're not going to be up here forever. And when they come down, you can refinance and you can rest assured that you got to get your house with less competition, with less money than you would have paid had you waited until the interest rates go up or go back down to 5.5%. So marry the house, date the rate. So if you've got questions about the real estate market or you're considering buying or relocating here to this region, truly, I love helping people navigate this process. I love helping out-of-towners. I just had somebody in my car from Florida and then San Francisco and just helping them discern, is this the right thing? And so if you've got questions, my team and I would love to assist you. My name is Matthew Chapman and I'll see you next time.